The best watch in Germany is actually kind of a bold statement. However, bear with me and allow me to explain why I personally believe Glashutte is producing some of the best dive watches coming out of Germany, and why this is probably the best dive watch you can get if you're looking for a German watch. So allow me to introduce to you guys the Glashutte SeaQ Panorama Date. This watch, along with the regular SeaQ, was introduced in 2019, and it's actually an important release for the brand. This release indicates that Glashutte is bringing back their sportier models that they haven't done in decades. Now, the SeaQ is a proper dive watch despite the fact that we're used to the brand releasing high horology pieces. This watch is neither delicate or just for show. It is an ISO and DIM certified dive watch, which is expected from a watch at this price point. Now, with that being said, in today's episode, you're gonna see that just because it's a Thule watch from the brand doesn't mean that they cut corners with the finishing on the dial case movement and the overall construction of this piece. Now, before we get into the specifications of this watch, I feel like it's important to point out a few things for those who are first learning about Glashutte as a brand. I won't bore you with an in-depth history lesson, but here's what you need to know. Glashutte is a German brand based out of the city of, well, you guessed it, Glashutte. It's the same city of brands like Lange, Nomos, and many other important German brands. It's the horological capital of Germany, and the brand produces high horology watches for relatively fair prices, and to add icing to the cake, everything is in-house. So I decided to show you guys the blue dial version for a reason. You see, if you take a look at other watches Glashutte produced, like the Panoramic Lunar, you'll realize that their blue dials will have kind of a different sheen than other watches, and that's because even their dials are made in-house, which allows the brand to create dials that have incredible colors, kind of unique colors, and is finished to their high standards. You may not know this, but many brands actually outsource the base of their dials, which is why the quality kind of takes a hit. Now, with that being said, that isn't the case with the SeaQ. The first thing you're greeted with is a beautiful aqua blue dial that, depending on the light, turns from a vibrant blue to a dark inky blue. You rarely get that black color, which showcases the quality of the blue color on this dial. The next thing you notice, aside from the Arabic numerals, is that big date. Now, the interesting thing about the date, as many of you who know and are fans of Lange, you may have noticed similarities with the big date window. But with that being said, despite Glashutte's watches being half the price, the date is actually executed better than Lange's. So the date on the Glashutte has both numerals on one plane, whereas the Lange has one above the other with a date divider. Now, should that matter to you? Probably not, but it is executed better, which is something interesting to note, that a watch that's basically half the price of Lange executed the date a lot better. Now, where Glashutte really shines is on the finishing of their cases and movements. Let me start off by talking about the case finishing on the SeaQ. It's on another level. The brushing is extremely fine, with the watch having little to no polishing except on the bracelet, which I'm going to show you guys in a little bit. And the watch has sharp edges, which gives it a nice Thule aesthetic, but it's not sharp enough to make it uncomfortable. But overall, just by looking at the watch, just that hint of polishing on the top, you can see it's exceptionally finished. Now let's talk about the watch and the specifications and whether or not you should consider this watch. Let's start off with the specifications because this is a bigger watch, but keep in mind they do have a 39mm version with their different models, which I will review in the future. But this watch has a 43.2mm case with 15mm thickness. It is very comfortable on the wrist, but keep in mind it is a bigger watch. Now, of course, personally, I would have hoped that this watch would be a little bit smaller, even though they did give us the 39mm version. I really like that big date. It's very iconic to the Glashutte SeaQ. It's very iconic to German design, and I feel like the 39mm case would have looked a lot better, but it is comfortable on the wrist and it doesn't wear that big, at least not the blue dial version. Now, moving on with the specifications, the watch does have 300 meters of water resistance, which is of course expected with a dive watch, and it has a domed sapphire crystal that heavily distorts the dial in ways that might divide many. For me, however, I really like the way it distorts the dial. That being said, I feel like this is something that you're either gonna love it or hate it, and especially having those big numerals, it could divide opinions on this one. Now, for those who know the brand, you know that Their high horology pieces, their dress pieces, are exceptionally finished when it comes to the movement, but that doesn't mean that they compromised with their sports watch. As you guys can see, the movement is heavily decorated. It's such a beautiful movement to look at. The caliber we're taking a look at is the 3613, which is the same movement they use in the Senator Excellence collection. Despite it being a high-end automatic caliber with exceptional finishing, you'll be glad to know that it has over 100 hours of power reserve, ultimately putting Rolexes and Omegas at the same price points calibers to shame. It undergoes a 24-day test by Glashutte before they give you this watch, before they pass it on to authorized dealers. That way you know that the quality control is exceptionally done and this movement is ready for you to wear. Now there's a final few things I wanted to show you guys before we end this review. I wanted to show you guys the bracelet. Now I did show it to you guys on the wrist. However, it's important to note that the bracelet you're getting is actually polished and brushed, and in my opinion, I feel like they should have kept it all brushed to continue with the aesthetics, and I'm not really a fan of polished center links. But with that being said, it is a very comfortable bracelet, but for me personally, I do prefer having an all brushed bracelet. I'm not really a fan of polished center links. Now here you guys go. A lot of you have been requesting lume shots, and I tend to forget, but this one just lit up like a torch, which made it actually hard for me to forget. So you guys can see it's absolutely stunning. So guys, in my opinion, if you're looking for a really good dive watch, an exceptional dive watch from Germany, I would highly recommend the Glashutte SeaQ. Now, here's the thing. It is a little bit on the pricey side, but once you handle this watch in the metal, you'll see the amount of finishing, the level of quality you're getting with this watch is absolutely worth it. It is better than my Submariner. I'm gonna say that straight up. There's no bias. It is better than my Submariner. However, if you're looking for a smaller version, I probably wouldn't go with the big date because it is a bigger watch, and if you can't sport that, they do have a smaller version. But guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Let us know in the comment section below what you think of the Glashutte SeaQ. Also, make sure you check out exquisitetimepieces.com if you're interested in this watch or any other watch in their website. Make sure you mention that you heard about them from this channel and they'll hook you up over there at exquisitetimepieces.com. As I said, guys, let us know what you think about this watch, if there's any other alternatives I should check out. And guys, I will see you in the next one.